Hola, everybody. So, I'm going to talk about a few things. Hopefully my phone stays still. Y'all say hey to the baby. My belly might start moving during the video, because she be lit. So, me scoot up here. Hey. So I wanted to talk about something that I saw earlier today, and I went to gather a little bit of information about it so I could speak better about it. So let me make sure my volume is up, because I'm gonna put this on YouTube, and I don't want it to be like, oh, y'all can't hear me. I don't want to be too loud because the kids are napping. Phone's doing stuff. Maybe that's not the best place to sit it. My tripod is like broke. Girl, yeah, I'm almost done. I'm almost done with this pregnancy life for now. Okay, hold on. All right. Oh, shit. We still, okay. So I wanted to talk about some stuff that I saw and that I've been noticing. Okay, so I don't know who all watches Married at First Sight. For those of you who don't know, the show is literally what it sounds like. These experts come together and they basically cast for a group. They basically cast people who are interested in getting married. A lot of these people said they're done dating. They just want to get married. They're tired of like playing games, and they're tired of the dating world. And so they sign up for this show. The experts, one is a minister, one is a psychologist. I think one is like a sexual therapist, or one's a sociologist. Might be a family therapist, and there's like there's like 3 or 4 experts on the show, and they cast for people who want to get married, that say they don't want to date anymore. And so the show has progressively gotten worse. I used to watch the show when it first, like the first couple seasons, and I stopped watching it, and I started back watching it. It has progressively gotten worse over time. Hey, it has progressively gotten worse. I have gotten to a point now where I am suspicious as to whether they are purposely picking dysfunctional black couples to put on the show. This last one is the worst that I have seen. I have seen several that were highly dysfunctional. There was only one where I saw a extremely dysfunctional non-black couple, and it was with the I cannot think of the girl's name, unfortunately, but the husband's name was Luke. It was this red-haired Caucasian dude, and he was just a horrible mate. But there has always been strong issues with the black couples most of the time. This is also the first season where they've had interracial couples. Okay. So this season, now from the beginning, I knew it was going to be some BS with this one particular person. And I feel like they picked him. His name is Chris. I feel like they picked him almost for controversy, or maybe that's what they do. They purposely pick one dysfunctional couple for controversy. It tends to be the black couple, but like I said last season, or just 2 seasons ago, it was a Caucasian couple. This time, the dysfunctional black couple. Well, not last season they had a dysfunctional Caucasian couple as well. They weren't that dysfunctional though. It's just I don't think they really liked each other. They were a bad match. I'm starting to I'm just at a point where I'm like, y'all need to just take this show off the air because y'all are ruining people's lives. People are getting married for. Honestly, as the seasons have gone on, the people have gotten more and more, and they sound extremely desperate. Like they're just like, I just want to get married. It's gotten the reasoning as to why they want to even be on the show has gotten worse and worse. It's pretty raggedy at this point. But this season, they pick this black dude named Chris and pair him with this black lady named Paige. I knew it was going to be some BS by the way Chris was talking, like in his because they talk to them like before they actually get married, as they're preparing to be married, and they're like fake engaged. Well, I won't say fake engaged because they do actually get married, but as they're engaged, and they're planning their weddings, picking out their tuxes and their dresses and things like that, and telling their family members and friends that they're going to get married. They're talking about themselves and, how they feel about, because they tell them, like, we picked you and you're getting married in 2 weeks. So it's, like, very abrupt. So, they're following the people and they're watching them. And Chris, from the beginning, was acting a fool. He has made so much commentary about how he wants a freak and how just like it's just been very sexually driven. Sex, I want a freak, blah, 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 blah. Ironically, he's extremely religious, right? The black guy is extremely religious. The girl that they paired, or the woman they paired him with, Paige, she is too, which is part of why they paired them together. They usually pair people that have the same faith and are very serious about their faith together because they feel like that makes them a good match. I'm not even going to get into my Abrahamic religion spiel. I might a little bit, but that'd be the damn problem. But anyways, so they pick Chris. Now, one of the things that Chris says, besides him wanting a freak, that alarmed me, was that he was previously engaged, like 3 or 4 months before he got casted. In real life, his pastors are the Lindsays. That explains everything, because I used to follow them when I was brainwashed. Ironically, in real life, if you were engaged to somebody 3 or 4 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, most people would be like, take your time. You don't need to be trying to get, you need to, the next person you date, like, go slow. Because that's a big deal to break off an engagement. You know what I mean? No, not him. He feels like, let me just keep going. And he gets casted for this show. That was already controversial anyway. I don't know why they casted this dude, but whatever, right? They casted him. So they pair him with Paige. Paige is, unfortunately, a stereotypical, highly religious black woman who thinks marriage is the end-all be-all. He talks about how he wants kids real bad, Chris, right? And so he makes the comment, like, they're like at their reception, and he's like, are you on birth control? Bruh, you just met this woman, like, because at the 6 week point, or 8 week point, it's like 6 or 8 week point, that's when they basically do the finale of the show, and it's called Decision Day, and you decide if you want to stay married to the person or get an actual divorce. Dang, bruh, like, it ain't even a month in, and you asking her if she's on birth control. Weird and creepy. Then she meets his dad, and she meets his family, because they're, like, after the wedding, they, like, meet the families and stuff. And his dad is, like, talking about sexual pleasure and how important that is in a relationship. Weird. Like, we just met this dude. It's a lot going on. Like, okay, this is a new show. These people are just paired very swiftly. It's basically an arranged marriage. So all this sex talk, it's just a lot. So then they go on their honeymoon, and the coronavirus had just begun. So usually they take them out of the country, but because of corona foolery, they they go to Vegas. Cool place. Got family in Vegas. They go to Vegas. Everybody is like pretty much having a smooth time. They're getting to know their spouse. They're having a great time. I wouldn't be surprised if it's his third engagement, sis. I wouldn't be surprised at all. She not because she's one of the comments is she needs to run. I fully agree, but she's warped into I got a husband. Okay, so which is why this type of mindset is so dangerous. And I really want to applaud the other black woman that's on the show because she told her, I'll get to it. The other black woman was telling her some real stuff, but I don't think she's going to listen. So they get to Vegas. Like day 2 or 3, yes, she's completely indoctrinated, which I think is a lot of black women, and hence the outcomes in relationships. So she, on like the third day, ironically, right, the third day, they get up. He's supposed to be going to get them breakfast or whatever, and he like leaves and don't come back for like hours, and then come back without no food. That would have been problem number 1 or 2. Oh wait, I need to rewind. Well, he came back with no food. That wasn't good. I would have been ready to cut somebody out right there. Okay, so back up. So at the reception and thereafter, he's making comments about how he's not attracted to her. He's not attracted to her. He's not attracted to her. First of all, bro, you decided that you wanted to get on an arranged marriage television show. If looks were that important to you, you should not have been on this show. That's part of why I would never sign up for the show. Because if you ain't looking right, I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to cancel the show. I'm ready to stop filming. Okay? But you signed up for this. So and then he's telling people about how he's not attracted to her. That's very hurtful. Ironically, as soon as on their honeymoon night, the next morning, the wedding night, the next morning, and thereafter, they're having a lot of sex, but he's not attracted to her. If I were her and I found that out as well, like that he was talking all that smack and y'all were having all this intercourse, I would have been my first time to run. Okay, so anyway, and then the fact that he had just recently been engaged, I would have been going to the experts like, why did y'all pair me with this man? He just got out of an engagement 4 months ago. What are y'all, why y'all pair me with him? Okay, why'd y'all even pick him for the show? I feel like that should almost be a disqualifier. If you've been engaged or married within the past 12 to 24 months, like, the hell? So that's really like strike number 1. Him saying he's not attracted to her, but them having all this sex. Just completely whatever. And a lot of people's comments were like, I bet you if she looked like an Instagram model, I bet you if she was 5 shades lighter, he wouldn't have said that. I personally agree. That's the energy I was getting from him too. Very, very colorist type attitude, but I can't say that to be sure, but that's what it sounds like to me. So then, like I said, he's already driven the wedge in. He's terrible. He's already put the knife in, but like he turns it, okay? It's worse. So then he's supposed to go get breakfast one morning, and then he like doesn't come back. Are you kidding me? Like until like later in the day, like early afternoon. What are you doing? So then he starts sulking, and he's like, oh, I just got some really bad news, and like I don't really and she keeps trying to talk to him about it. He don't want to tell her. Then she walks out of the room and I'm fast forwarding Like, she keeps asking him, like, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? He's like, it's just a lot. It's just a lot. It's just all this foolishness. But he don't want to tell her, his new wife. She goes out, she leaves the hotel room. She's visibly frustrated, and the producers are like, yeah, we can't really tell you. Pause. So y'all know what's going on, but I don't. I I really know that my patience, I'm not built for no type of mess like that. So she keeps trying to talk to him. And he just keeps acting like he don't want to tell her. So then they go into the bathroom. He's like, okay, do you want to talk about it? Duh. She keeps asking you to talk about it. Finally, right, exactly, done. So then they go into the bathroom because he's going to finally tell her what's going on. He tells her, you can hear him tell her to take her mic off. Then he turns on the faucet water. Then he turns on the shower or the bath water because obviously he has enough sense to know that the producers are like right there on the door. Like, they want to hear too. They want to hear. When he's done talking to her, he walks out. You can't hear anything. He walks out and they're like, what is she doing? And he's like, man, she's in there having a moment. Okay, you've been having a moment all day too. It must be something really heavy. At that point, I didn't even finish the episode. At that point, I was like, his ex-fiance is pregnant. I knew it. I was like, he must have got one of his exes must be pregnant. It's probably that ex-fiance. Guess what? That's exactly what it was. So they cut to commercial, they come back. And Paige goes and talks to the other black woman that is on the show. The other woman that was paired. Her husband is Puerto Rican. So she goes and sits down. I cannot think of her name. It's natural hair, pretty brown skin girl. I cannot think of her name. Anyway, she goes and talks to the other black woman. Understandably so. She needed to, had to chop it up. So she goes and she talks to the other black woman and she's like, girl, let me tell you, she got a McDonald's cup on her hand because she obviously had to go get her own breakfast because her husband didn't bring her nothing to eat. So she goes to talk to the other black woman and she explains. Yeah, so his ex is pregnant. Oh, the ex that he just ended the engagement with a few months ago? See, this is exactly why. This is exactly why you have no business on a show like this when you were just engaged to somebody or previously married to somebody. Foolishness. Like, foolish. I'm like, why did they even put him on the damn show? And this girl wanted to be married so bad. And this is why I feel so bad for her. She's like an accountant and like, seems like she has all of her ducks in a row and whatnot. I think she went to Georgia State. I'm just sitting here like, this is some BS. So Chris goes and talks to the Puerto Rican dude. And the Puerto Rican dude, he gets to the nitty. He's like, do you want to be back with this ex-fiance? He's like, no, I got to think about my wife, blah, 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 blah. And he asked him, how far along does homegirl say she is? 6 weeks, which means, for those of you who don't know, she just missed her period. Like, she just missed it. Like, she just took a pregnancy test probably like a week and a half ago at the earliest. 2 weeks ago at the earliest. So she really just found out she's pregnant too. And probably just sat on her hands for maybe a week or two before she told him. So ghetto. So ratchet. And his lack of empathy, Chris's lack of empathy for his wife, is just ridiculous. His attitude is so trash. But I just think it's so ironic because he's supposed to be the churchy dude on the show. And it's just like, I just be wanting sisters to like stop falling for he got a good job, or right, ain't even seen the ultrasound. The baby could not even be a viable child. She ain't even made it out her first trimester, and it's all this drama. To me, as far as Paige is concerned, that was her get out of jail free card. But no, what did she do? I'm gonna try to work it out. I'm gonna try to work it out. I'm gonna try to work it out because I'm married. Girl, you on TV. And last time I checked, if it's less than 30 days, you can get an annulment. I wouldn't even be in a hotel. I would be at one of the other, first of all, you're in Vegas. Girl, I'll be on somebody's slot machine. I'll be at somebody's pool party. I wouldn't even be sitting up here for talking to him for what? But of course, they go to dinner that night, and he's like, "You're my wife. You come before all of this." And da-da-da-da. And she's sitting there, well, my ex did have a kid, and I helped. I was pretty much her stepmom. Oh, this is why you keep getting dragged, because you pretty much keep being a doormat and waiting for somebody to put a ring on it. And you got so desperate that you went on this TV show. I just want sisters to stop tolerating this level of foolishness. Like, I feel like, and I know this from personal experience, we get out of jail free cards. They're called red flags. And you have an opportunity to leave. And when you don't, it gets worse and worse and worse. Even if you have to make an exit plan and you can't execute your get out of jail free card at that moment, red flags are what they are. They're there for a reason. He was a walking red flag. And then one of the things that really pissed me off was him talking about how unattractive she is. The woman is not unattractive. And I know for a fact that I'm very, I can be very, what's the word I want to use? Critical of other people's looks. Like, I'm just going to be honest. I know that about myself. He looks like something off of Sesame Street. He is not cute. He is not cute. Seriously, I would be so done. And then she's like 27. Like, sis, you have your whole world in front of you. I think she is an attractive woman. His immature groomsman kept talking about how thick she was. Sis looks six. Sis got brick house situation going on. Like, she got a nice shape going on. I can say that without any type of, like, sis look good. I don't even understand what he's talking about. Because he is not, I wouldn't talk to him. Like, I wouldn't give him my phone number. He's not attractive to me at all. Never was from the beginning. But of course, him being this fake religious person that really just wants some type of a sex slave to have a whole bunch of kids for him, of course that made him even less attractive. I'm really starting to believe that they purposely pick one effed up couple per season. My nose is itching. Sorry. And like I said, it tends to be the black couple. It tends to be the black couple on this show. So I just want women, like, and I'm about to sneeze, I think. Hold on. I just want women to stop trying to turn, as my granny would say, turn shit into sugar. She's like, well, maybe I can deal with it. I'm going to try to make it work. He already said that he's not attracted to you. And now this, like, there's also the notion of, is he even telling the truth? Is he just trying to get out of the marriage? But then at dinner, he was like, I'm going to try to make it work. And, you're my wife now. You were just saying earlier today and yesterday that you didn't think the woman was attractive. But now you want to try to make it work. You want somebody to help you raise this baby. No, I'm tired. Look, I'm tired. We have got to stop making these raggedy excuses for putting up with ratchet BS. Men, historically, from what I have seen, oh, she got kids. And they ready to be like, no. Then it's on the flip side, when it's a woman, she's like, I guess I'll deal with his kids. I guess I'll put up with this. I guess I'll deal with the fact that he's ugly. I guess I'll deal with this. It's like, y'all be so tolerant of, and I get it. I was like this in my 20s, so I'm just going to attribute to the fact that she's 27. But y'all be tolerating too much stuff. Y'all be keeping folks' phone numbers too long. Y'all be having too many conversations. Okay? I mean, how many chances do you give a person? Especially when y'all are not married, y'all don't have no kids. You can easily just be like, I'm cool. Bye. Like, it's so easy. But I see so many women who sit up and put up with so much crap. And I guess right now she's feeling that way because she's legally married to him. But girl, this is TV, boo. Annulment. Annulment. I would be screaming annulment from the top of my lungs and be at, though, like I said, one of these, you're in Las Vegas. I would be in one of these hotels on a slot machine meeting new people. I don't understand. Especially when you don't have a lot of time invested. Bye. Bye. Like I want y'all to learn that word. BYE. Bye. Goodbye. There's another special word called block. It's an action. You go to your phone and you find the person's phone number and you block them. There is no more like energetically. This is why this shit gets worse and it stays raggedy because you don't make room for better. Delete these folks' numbers, block them, divorce them, break up with them. And I get it. There's so much women, especially when you're in these Abrahamic religions, you are taught to stay. You are taught to suffer. You are taught to make it worse. To make it work. You're taught to, that was a Freudian slip because that's essentially what ends up happening. You're taught to try to basically be this long-suffering partner because you're looked down upon if you're divorced or you're a single mother. And I talked a little bit about this in the High Value Woman video that I put on YouTube. Y'all be so worried about this societal acceptance and being able to brag and say that you're a wife or brag and say that you have all your kids by one person or whatever, that you sit up and I'm going to just be honest. I look up at some of these women that do that and some of y'all have the hugest bags under your eyes. Some of y'all have fallen off so hard. Some of y'all are like, man, I wish I could get a break from my kids. Well, you know what happens? A lot of people who are divorced and are single parents, they often get breaks because they have the opportunity to send a child over to their daddy house or whatever. You're not going to get that when you're sitting up dealing with somebody that makes you a mule and makes you put up with them all day. I guess maybe there needs to be a perks of single parenthood video because y'all act like people think it's the worst thing in the world. It's really not. It can be, but it's really not. Especially, it's worse when your child is seeing you being treated like crap. It's worse when you sitting up wallowing about the fact that you had a child by somebody that's stupid. I know what that's like. And most of it came from an Abrahamic religious mindset and people telling me that I was unworthy, people making me feel bad, meeting these ashy people that weren't even really worth my time. who ended up leaving their children's mothers abandoned as well in later years. But I'm not going to go into that. Who were judging me because I had a child or had 2 children at the time. And that they ended up making single mothers out of other people, or running their wives ragged, or having kids by women and not marrying them, and pretty much perpetuating the things that they said that they couldn't deal with when they didn't have children and weren't married and stuff like that. But y'all be so worried about securing a man that you sit in less than favorable situations, and it shortens your lifespan. Y'all skin be looking real lackluster. Your life be real lackluster. Your finances are in shambles because you raising some other people's kids, and you're giving so much energy to try to make this relationship work. Because it's just too much of an investment. I already did a video about decentering romantic relationships. That be the problem. Like, this poor woman, her whole life, she's so focused. She has a wonderful career from what I understand. She's attractive. She has made, I have to get married, an important part of her life, that she's willing to accept this raggedy situation. And I'm gonna tell y'all something else, another thing that I noticed on the show. When they told the other couples that this man had just found out he had a baby on the way, how embarrassing. I wouldn't have even been there to tell nobody, because I would have left. But whatever, right? She stayed. So we're not gonna talk about what Lil would have done. All the couples were like, well, we're here for you. We know you can make it through it. Smiling all in her face. This is how people do, y'all, black women, just so y'all know. Sitting there smiling in your face, telling you you're strong and you can get through it. But when they were in the confessionals talking about the situation on their own, they was just like, oh, I would have left. Oh, it would have been over for me. Oh, That's why you gotta be in touch with yourself. Like, this is why you gotta, like, seriously, you have to have self-esteem before you get in these relationships, and why you need to have boundaries. Because everybody will tell you, girl, you can get through it. Girl, it's okay. But when they behind closed doors, when you're not listening, they just like, she's stupid as hell for staying with him. Ain't no way I'll be dealing with that. Girl, please, I would have been left that job. I would have been left that man. Oh, he wouldn't have me pregnant for the 5th time. And he got 3 kids by 3 other women. Like, people be laughing at you, low-key. Like, they think you're stupid. And I'm sure I've had people do the same thing to me in past. Because there's been... I look back at some of my past situations and I was like, why did nobody tell me to pack up every single last one of me and my kids' shit and fucking run? Besides them being like, oh, damn, sis, that's rough. He left you with the kids again? Damn, sis. It's going to be all right. You want to go out to eat? They was doing all of that, but nobody told me, nobody said, oh, do you want me to come help you pack up your shit? But chances are, behind closed doors, that's what they were saying to other people, or in their heads or whatever. So please this is part of why you need self-esteem, and you need to have boundaries before you get into a relationship. You need to know before you get into a relationship, can I deal with an outside baby? Can I deal with somebody that wants to be unemployed for the rest of their damn life and I take care of them? Can I deal with someone who doesn't want to have children? Can I deal with someone who thinks that holidays are unimportant and won't even get me a Twix bar on Valentine's Day? You need to ask yourself this stuff before you get into the relationship, because when you're so focused on, I want to have a husband, and then you go get with him and then stuff comes out of the woodworks 3 days later, and you on national television, you just sitting there. That's how she just sitting there smiling, looking like Boo Boo the fool, and she doesn't know what to do. She's confused, she's embarrassed, and some more stuff. And I was watching somebody else's review of the show, and she was just like, I literally was like, sis, what is the address? I will come help you pack. Like, for real. There's just no way. There's just no way. I feel very bad for her. I really want to know how much longer she gonna tolerate this. If she gonna ride this out. Because I don't think sis need a check. Like, she's an accountant, with no children. So I don't think she needs a check. I would hope she has a little bit more self-dignity, but she might make it to the end of the season. But it's the amount of energy that I watch women expend on acquiring and maintaining relationships that are not favorable to their life. Like, they're not favorable at all. I don't care if your husband don't want to start a business with you. I don't care if your husband make less money than you. I don't care. If you are not getting basic respect from the other person, you cannot convince me that the relationship is beneficial to your life. You can't. I have seen career women who have careers and their husbands stay home with the kids, and they actually have a balance. That's not necessarily how I would want to live my life, but I know people who have done that or are currently doing that, and it actually works for them. Like, I knew somebody who worked in the medical field. She made way more than her husband, and she really enjoyed her career. They had 5 kids. He was a graphic designer and an artist, and he stayed home. He still made money and contributed to the household, but he stayed home, and he enjoyed being more of the nurturer. And that's just how their stuff worked. I know some of the things that I'm working on, I'm going to have to be outside of the home for some period. I keep burping, excuse me. They say the baby's growing when you're burping, so excuse me. My mind's, okay, pregnancy brain, come back. There are going to be times when I need to travel out of town. There are going to be times when I need to stay up working on things, and I'm going to need assistance from my partner. And so therefore, he's going to have some capabilities of nurturing. I don't need somebody that's gone 80% of the time and they don't know how to change a diaper. Because I know some women who that's their life, and their careers had to completely stop because, and that's not what they wanted. They didn't want to be a complete stay-at-home mom. It had to stop because the man just doesn't have any type of skills with child rearing. I know that wouldn't work for me. I also know I wouldn't want a man that just stays home and I work all the time and he don't do anything. Or not, let me not say do anything, but he's a stay-at-home dad and I work. Like, I just know it would have to be where I probably stay home 60 to 70% of the time, but there's going to be 40% where I need him to pretty much take over because I have something I need to film, or I'm on location for 2 months and maybe I have to pull a candy burst and come back every weekend or whatever. But for 2 months, I'm literally like, I gotta film, and I can't be there every single day. But then after those 2 months, the rest of the year, I'm, happy homemaker. There has to be a balance of some sort, however it works in those relationships. But I have seen so many women just give up their lives and be dragged just to hold up their hand and be like, look what I got. That I don't have, girl. I pawned my first engagement ring, okay, to literally feed my child. That's how real my life had gotten at that point. And I don't regret it. That was my first inkling that that's not everything. That's not an end-all, be-all. Because, yeah, it was all cute when I'm engaged and I got this. And look at me. Look at my little family. Look at my little whack-ass maternity pictures with my man. All of that is cute until somebody go upside your head, until somebody say some crazy stuff, until somebody start disrespecting you, until it's no longer safe or positive for you or your child. Okay, like that you cannot. Well, you have to decentralize romantic relationship. That is not the bane of your life. Like, stop. This is why I would have saved so much money. I would have saved so much time. I would have saved so much energy if that was not taught to me as a young woman in church, that my priority was being somebody's wife. If I would have gotten some other types of reinforcement as a young woman, I did get go to college, but I also was getting the whole husband thing. And it did not help. I do not feel like that assisted me in my evolution in life. If anything ever held me back, it was trying to acquire and maintain a relationship. I have wasted so much time doing that. And I hate watching this brilliant black woman on television. And I feel like I keep seeing it on different shows. Because on Real Housewives, it's a few of them getting dragged by of Atlanta, the black one. And even on Real Housewives of Potomac, the other black Real Housewives show, I keep the dragging. The way these men be dragging these, it's just like, dude. And one of the things I noticed, I think it was Real Housewives of Orange County. Was it Beverly Hills? It was one of the Caucasian wives. Her husband was dragging her, and they was telling her, it was like, girl, your husband gone all the time, he cheating on you. She was like, no, he's not. No, he's not. Of course, it came out during the season that he was, and he wanted a divorce. I don't know why we don't be telling each other the truth. No, I'm not watching the Huntsville show, but I could tell how disrespectful that dude is from just a few clips that I've seen. Oh, really? Her comment about the Lindsays. Their energy is so jacked up that I just feel bad for anybody that still follows them. I used to follow them, and then it was like around 2014, 2015, I realized that they were on some complete and total BS. I honestly would hate to be a fly on the wall in their house. I know there'd be some BS going on up in their house. Oh yeah, the dude is he's having a baby on his wife. And didn't his wife just have a baby? The level of embarrassment that these women have to go through on national television it's very sad to watch. Yeah, I stopped following them about 5 or 6 years ago because a lot of the things they say were very questionable, and there were behavioral things that I noticed that were very questionable. I don't want them trying to sue me, but I was like, the Lindsays. The energy around them is so manufactured. The energy around them is so manufactured. Yeah, that's really crazy because in the wife named on the Huntsville show, in the wife named Melanie, she's so pretty. And her husband out here treating her like crap. Well, Melanie, girl, live your best life. Since he cheated on you and had a baby on you, I'm pretty sure you're going to get favor in the divorce. So, live your best life. But yeah, I feel like I keep seeing this on these shows, is these women getting dragged for filth by their husbands. Again, this should be proof that having a license and changing your last name does not mean that you're going to be happy. It doesn't mean you're going to be respected. It doesn't mean... And even people who get married and they stay married for 20, 30 years, sometimes those relationships don't work out. And it's okay. Stop making that the bane of you. Stop making that your... brand. Stop making that your brand. And then wondering why you end up depressed and sad or whatever when somebody leaves you or somebody doesn't follow through with the engagement proposal and stuff like that. That shouldn't be the bane of your existence. Yeah. yeah, Nicole. That's what I had gathered from them, that he was a jerk and they had two other kids, two older kids. Um, but yeah, like, please, I feel bad for her, and I hope that this is a lesson for her, that she's 27. She still has time to meet the love of her life, and I hope that she runs. I don't think that's gonna happen. Like, I think she's gonna try to make this work, because she keeps making these comments about, well, God wouldn't put me in this if he had a plan. I think God did have a plan, and you forced your hand in the plan, getting on this damn TV show. Cause did you pray about that before you did it? I don't know. And also she was saying something like, what did she say? She was like, God's in control, I'm not in control. That whole mindset. Again, God gives us all. You are supposed to listen to your higher self. God gives you an intuition. People like to always put stuff off on God and the devil, and no, God gives you intuition. And I feel like you're getting red flag after red flag after red flag, and you're not paying attention to them. So I think you can say all day that God has a plan and different stuff like that. And God wouldn't put you in a situation if you couldn't get through it. You can't get through it. You can pack up your stuff and you can go home. You know, Jesse Wu was like, is this the God of Abraham? Is this the God of Moses? I think not. And I was like screaming in here laughing, because yeah, I don't believe that you would keep getting put in these raggedy ass I don't think God would put you in this raggedy ass situation if you want to put it on God. But you did this. You applied for this show and you got whatever they spit out, and it was trash. And instead of being like, this doesn't really fit what I want, you decided to put up with it. No. All I know was my mom would have been like, you're getting off TV today. My mom would have talked about me so bad and been like, no, ma'am. But that's what she needs. She needs somebody to tell her the truth. I think the other black woman tried to tell the truth a little bit, but she was trying to be nice. She needs somebody to tell her, like, girl, don't do this. Run now. Is somebody making cookies? I feel like I smell something sweet. But it could just be me being fat. But no, I think the oven is on. Okay, but anyways, that's what I wanted to talk about, is the amount. Again, please decentralize romantic relationships from your life, because you can literally derail your entire life trying to live for a relationship, or trying to acquire a relationship, or maintain a relationship with somebody that you don't even really need to be with. Like, please. Nobody should have you that stressed out on day 3 of marriage. Month 3 of a marriage. Nobody should have you that stressed out and publicly embarrassed on national television. Don't be trying to blame God. Don't be trying to blame Satan. None of that other stuff. You made that decision. And another thing is, y'all need to start, and I mean, maybe this, and thank you, Nicole, because I'm going to make this point. We got to start teaching our daughters some game. Stop teaching your daughters that her life should be based around having a damn man. Like, please stop. It's so many women wasting energy and time with men because they have been indoctrinated into thinking that they have to stay with somebody because they got kids with them. They gotta stay with somebody because they married them. They gotta get somebody because their biological clock is ticking. Please stop. And it's so many trifling men on social media touting that information and making women feel like they're over the hill and they've hit a wall and all this other crazy stuff that these dudes be talking about on social media, that they need enough confidence to combat that type of information, that we need to stop teaching our daughters that that is the most important thing. because when they think that's the most important thing, and then they hear actual men talking about this kind of stuff, they feel like, oh my God, I'm 27. Oh my God, I'm 28. Oh my God, I got. This is why they rush and end up in these crazy, abusive, controlling, dusty relationships, because this is what they've been indoctrinated with. And it's just so, I just be like, sis, run. I mean, wanting to just tell you, I'm like, run free. Like, but it's hard. I get why it's so hard for some women to do that, because I know what it was like in my 20s. And I've seen women close to me, not so close to me, maintain, force, seek to acquire relationships that are just extremely ashy, because they think that the title of wife or even the title of girlfriend is more important than fulfilling their destiny. And it's so sad to see. Yes, dusty, ashy, crusty. That all of those adjectives are for things that are trash. And it's just, people act like being alone is like the worst thing in the world, and I'm just like, do you understand how much peace you would have versus the BS that you're dealing with in a relationship? Yeah, a lot of people, partnership, relationships, hugs, kisses, physical touch, all of those things are important. I'm not saying that they're not, but there are seasons, I'll say, in your life where being isolated is really the best thing, and you'll look back on it and be like, damn, I sure wish I had that quiet. I sure wish I didn't have to worry about this joint account with this person, or sometimes when your job, when you have periods of isolation and you spend those times trying to be booed up, sometimes you miss out on a lot of opportunities professionally, spiritually, physically even, to get a lot of things in order for when you are in a relationship with somebody, because you're so busy trying to go on dates and be on this dating app and be around this person and do this, when you really you had a whole year where wasn't nobody paying you attention. Everybody you was trying to get with kept curving you, man. 2 years, 3 years, and you just kept getting curved. And it's like, damn, do you realize you could have finished another degree by then? Do you realize you could have traveled? You could have done this, that, and the third. And then what do? You pull a Kenya Moore. You meet somebody, you marry him in 4 days, and then a year later you're getting embarrassed on national television. But you had all this time that you could have prioritized other things. Now you on TV crying because I don't have a nanny for my kid. You have 43 years of kid freeness. Should have cherished it. I've watched family members go through that. I was just talking about that the other night. I've watched family members go through that. They had a lot of time with no kids, and they met somebody, boom, 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 had a kid, and the person left them, and they were just like, oh, woe is me, I'm a single parent. I'm like, you had a lot of free time. Spend this time with your kid. You old anyway, so by the time they're 20, you're going to be an elder. So you might as well just enjoy. I don't know. It doesn't faze me anymore because I've done single parent stuff. It don't faze me no more. So, enjoy the peace that you have. If ain't nobody picking up the phone, if everybody is a swipe left, just enjoy the peace. Enjoy the peace. Oh, my belly is moving. But yeah, I would take peace and singleness and trash dates over being embarrassed on national television, being embarrassed in my community, being disrespected in my own home. Yeah, that's just my 32 years of wisdom. My mom used to always say there ain't no love like self-love. I agree. Because people are flaky. Love can be conditional. Yeah, and being hurt. Yeah, I definitely have had plenty of moments where I'm just like, dang, I'm by myself. This sucks. It doesn't hurt as bad as being disrespected, ghosted, left. Catching STDs, people having to tell you they're got babies on the way and they not your baby. Yeah. I'd actually rather cry myself to sleep than and be alone and be on Tinder than dealing with those things, truly and honestly. And I've never, I've never been divorced, but I know divorce is not a piece of cake either, and neither is breaking up with a long-term partner. Yeah, and that's what I was been talking about, Camila. Like, we have that so bad. We're so busy trying to be a writer, make it work. I don't want to have multiple baby daddies, that we sit in these really trashy, ashy, crusty, dusty relationships that just get more and more embarrassing as time goes on. And it's just like, that's all you can holler about is, I got a ring. Well, all my kids are by so-and-so. Sis, and he got 5 other kids by 5 other women. Do you want a round of applause? Do you want a cookie? I've seen women do that. Oh, I've been with him for 3 years. He ain't going nowhere. No, you're not going anywhere because he's been doing stuff. You just either don't know about it or you keep overlooking it, but you're not going anywhere. And he knows that you're not going anywhere. That's why he doesn't feel compelled to respect you, even try to get married to you, give you a spa day for your face that's peeling right now because you've been slaving over a stove for the past 3 years for him. Anything. That's why you look like that. I'm telling y'all, if you've been in a relationship and your looks and your finances have decreased over time, that's there's 2 red flags. They're waving at you in the mirror saying, get out. But y'all be trying to say y'all holding it down. I'm not holding nothing down but myself and these kids. If the person isn't holding me down on the same level, of course. Because the hell I look like. I gotta stay cute for my career, okay? So I'm not about to let somebody drag me for filth. I've seen it happen, and then there's sometimes you get back. I haven't met too many women that have had breast cancer that had real loving partners. And breast, it's right here on your heart chakra. And usually when you sit down and talk to these women that have had breast cancer, they talk about how they gave to everybody else. They sacrificed their whole life for other people. And I'm like, oh, so your heart chakra is jacked up and that's why you have breast cancer. Because every disease has a metaphysical root, and that's like a whole nother video. But there's certain health issues that I've seen a lot of women have. And then when you sit down and talk to them about their life, you'd be like, oh, what was that man? Oh, okay. Oh, surprise, surprise. It was that raggedy marriage that dragged you. But, right, exactly. Yeah, you've been in relationships. They will, y'all, if I could tell you about all of the different shortcomings that I had in each relationship, one of which I was bleeding profusely. I got a story for every single one of them. Yep, bleeding profusely, loss of money, illness, depression, all kinds of stuff. And every single time that I got to a point where I was like, okay, this stops now. This has gotten way too bad. As soon as I started taking the steps to get myself, as soon as I went to therapy, as soon as I changed my diet or whatever it was that was going on, and I was like, I gotta fix this. This isn't working out for me. The man just like magically disappeared. Like one of them actually moved to a different state when I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start this herbal business and I have to do it right now. I don't have time for this. You are taking up too much of my energy and my time. Da-da-da-da-da-da. This is what's really important to me right now. Like, we spend too much time just sitting around, like, just being like up under each other, and we're not getting anything done. I really feel called to start this business. Child, he got up and moved. He all of a sudden had his family emergency and got up and moved. That, you know, I want to talk about God. That wasn't nothing but God. When I got up and said, oh, I'm about to take a job in this other place, I can't deal with you no more. Dude started crying and stuff. And I got a job doing something in a place that I never thought I'd be in, like in a different area that I never would have been in, for a major organization I never thought I would have worked for, which looks great on my resume, by the way. That, I mean, it's like doors literally opened up, and dudes, the men were always pushed out of the way. Actually, two of them moved, and then one time, I've had two dudes move. I had one dude just randomly break up with me for like no reason, and then I had a situation where I moved, and it was because it was almost like once I raised my vibration, I couldn't even stay in those relationships anymore. And it wasn't always me leaving; sometimes it was them leaving. But the point is, the universe had to intervene in those relationships, because it was like, okay, you've decided that you want better for yourself, so we're gonna have to break this up. Yeah, cord cutting is real. Cord cutting is real. And I even had a situation last year where the person was still trying to attach cords to me. And I found out through a professional that the person was still trying to maintain cords to me. I had to do several days of cord cutting, like several days of cord cutting. Not one time, not one bath. I had to do several days of cord cutting, like with some other spiritual tools. Like, it wasn't no joke. I had to keep doing it because they were still trying to attach to me. Like, again, they be siphoning y'all's energy. That's why I be trying to tell y'all, leave these niggas alone. They be siphoning your energy off of you. And you can tell. You be like, oh, I don't know why I've been so tired lately. I keep getting sick. You need to do cord cutting. Cord cutting. Get you some black walnut. You got to keep doing it. You got to keep doing the bath. And then do, you probably need to do a protection and then do the cord cutting. Like a protection to keep their, and an ore sealing to keep their energy out, and then do, sometimes, man, it's real in these streets. Sometimes you have to do protection work or cloaking work to keep people from even being able to do anything that you can go do. Even if it's money work, you gotta do protection and aura sealing before you even do the prayers for your new house, before you even do the cord cutting. Because, I mean, folks, you know, men have spiritual gifts too. And you gotta block them out. Like, I had to start doing cloaking on my videos. Like, if somebody decides they want to act a fool on my videos, or try to come intervene on my videos, woe unto you. But I had to start doing that. Actually, the same professional told me that. She was like, oh, so there's people that are trying to use your energy, and use your videos to try to like demean you and do blah 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 blah. Start cloaking your videos. Start doing work on before, after, during your videos, so that if they do decide they want to hit record on your video or download your video and to use it for a baneful purpose, that, you know, things happen to them or their lives or their dog or Who knows? What if it's your baby daddy? What if it's your baby daddy? Your first priority is always to protect yourself and your children. So, I mean, I don't need to have cords attached to anybody that I've procreated with if they don't have the utmost respect for me, for bringing the children into the world, and the utmost respect for taking care of my children. If they don't have that, if they don't put me as the reason for continuing their bloodline, and the child that I brought in as the utmost priority, then what do I have? What attachment would I want to have to them spiritually? I don't. I can send you some information. Nick, I'll message you. I'll send you some information if you need like help on how to do like a cloaking of your energy and stuff like that. Again, you could bust out some psalms and get it done too. I mean, you ain't even gotta go super hard. I mean, because it's really about your intention and your words. Really. I saw somebody, actually I was watching a reality show, and the dude's mama was like a minister, and she hit one of those, what was it? Like, until you do right by me. She hit one of those with, that's not what she said, but she just felt like the girl he was with had bad spirits on her, and she was very religious, and she just was like, this is not a God, this relationship, da da da. She got to pointing at the girl and saying stuff. Baby, that girl was out there in 24 hours. So, it's the power of the tongue is real. I mean, that's an attachment. So if you want to cut the attachment, you can. All of that stuff, I mean, them lying to you, physical attachments, you can cut the attachment it's up to you if you want to cut the attachment. I don't want nobody attached to me that don't mean me no good. I want them up and out of my face, out of my space, away from me, away from anything that is valuable to me. Cord cutting. I'm all about, I love block. I love black walnut. Black walnut is great for getting rid of parasites inside of your body as well. Cut it up. Like I don't, again, it must be because I have like Pluto on Scorpio on the 8th house, like all in my chart. And because again, from like my teens to the end of my 20s, I put up with so much crap. Like I put up with, y'all don't understand how I literally only give y'all these messages because of the amount of foolery and disrespect. I literally did not send somebody to jail who stole my phone. And I didn't do it because I had a kid with them. I should have called the police. I should have called the police. But I was trying to be like this good black one. If I could tell y'all how many times black males have not gone to prison or jail because I wanted to be loyal to black men, I could probably buy a vehicle if I had $5 for each time. I was like, well, I'm not going to tell anybody that he did this to me, because when I should have been in full Karen. Let me tell. He did this. Oh, he did this. He did. Because some of those same people, when they felt like doing something to me, I literally had one of the people who had stolen money from me, stolen a phone from me, tried to steal my car at one point. I remember 3 to 4 years later, they found out I had a boyfriend. And because I still had to maintain a relationship with this person for legal reasons, he decided, out of his anger, to call the police and make a false statement and had them come to, like, he had no, that's another thing I be trying to get you to understand. These niggas don't have no problem calling the police on you. He had no problems calling the police on me and lying. And when the police came out, they were like, you might want to get a restraining order on this guy. That's what they told me when they left my house. Because they came out expecting, because again, they got called thinking that there was some, that I had done something wrong, or that something was going wrong where I was. And when they got there, they realized that the dude was making up the story because he was mad that my man was there. But probably had I called the 3 to 4, maybe 5 times, I can't even remember. Some of it I know I did block out because it was so much trauma. It was in the beginning of my 20s. Had I probably called the police maybe every single time that he did the things that he did to me, he probably would have a criminal record. He probably would still be locked up. Right? He probably right now. But again, I wanted to be, you don't want to get a black man in trouble. But again, he had no problem trying to get me and my then boyfriend in trouble because he was on his period. So yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've been in them situations. I've had a situation where a dude didn't hit me, but he tried to snatch my kids, one of my children out of my arms. I didn't call the police. But when he got an opportunity to call the police and make up something, like literally just pull something out of his behind and just lie on me, he did. So I just be like, bye. I can't with the energy. I can't with the energy. I can't. I just want, once the disrespect energy has been planted, the seed of disrespect has been planted, I now know that it is time to go. Because it gets worse. Yeah, they can be real jacked up, Camila, depending on where you live. The police don't, in certain places, they don't have a good reputation of protecting you. But this is why I feel like spiritual protection is really important as well. And I don't have, just being real, sometimes you need to be a licensed gun holder. Sometimes you need to know martial arts. I mean, you just have to have your protection up physically and spiritually, because the police they don't always do their job. And that was another thing too that Ice Cube talked about, is how the police need to be trained on domestic violence. They need to be trained on domestic violence because sometimes they don't do what they're supposed to do. But then, like I said, there are a lot of times when women don't call the police because you're afraid of retaliation, or you've been socialized to not do that. But I know for a fact I missed out on several opportunities of calling the damn cops because I didn't think it was the right thing to do for other stupid reasons. But yeah, it's crazy. I'm telling you, that's why sometimes you have to go full Karen. The first time sometimes you have to go full Karen. And that's another thing too. Sometimes with us, like for instance, this situation with this girl being treated like this, and this nigga having a baby with somebody else, we tolerate too much. Like, we tolerate way, way, way too much. This is literally her plan. This is like, leave. She has a great reason to leave. And sometimes we don't go full Karen enough because we've tolerated and dealt with so much bullshit. Like, sometimes you actually need to shed actual tears instead of being calm and being like, well, let me tell you what Tyrell did. He entered my home and then he did this. And my kids are afraid now because they saw him kick the dog. But you calm as shit. Black women need to stop that shit. You literally want to cry, but you're trying to act tough. Stop. Like, stop. You need to cry. Like, seriously. Y'all be talking about, Karens be this and that. Sometimes you need to be Karen. Actually, I think you need to be Karen a lot of the times when your life is in danger or your livelihood is in danger, we be too stoic. We be too in certain situations. I'm not saying you should just always be like overly dramatic, but there are certain situations in which sometimes people will disregard you because you aren't showing any kind of emotion at all. And that's just real life. We've been I mean, I don't feel like you should always be like, you shouldn't be manipulative, but if you really scared, you need to cry. Like, really, when somebody tried to literally expose some of my medical information last year, I had to seek legal support. Because I was like, you know what, if I keep letting this person get away with this level of basically intimidation, they're going to keep doing it. And I mean, I had put up with it for years. And I was like, no, I'm calling an attorney. Because he's going to keep doing it. They have. That's what I'm saying. We are indoctrinated, like, especially us. Like, I'm telling you, I don't know why these white women, they will not tolerate that shit on TV most of the time. Like, I told you what they was telling the girl. They was like, oh, girl, I hope you guys can make y'all's marriage work. And then in the confessional part, they were like, she should leave. Yeah, because they would. Yeah, a lot of our mothers and aunties, and again, I know I've gone through some stuff with men, and I've told my family members about it, some of my family members who are used to getting busted upside the head. So I tell them about something that one of my exes has done, and they're just like, well, that's not that bad. Maybe y'all can work it out. Like, yeah, that's why that's not always, those aren't always, get you some white friends. Sometimes I'm gonna say that. They'll call the lawyer uncle in 5 minutes and be like, Tisha needs to talk to you, Uncle Matt. Her boyfriend came in through her window. Yeah, can you talk? Y'all be putting up with babies, abuse, disrespect, lies, and this is why it keeps happening, because you're telling the universe, this sucks, but I'm gonna keep. Literally, the white girl on the show said that Paige had Stockholm syndrome. The Caucasian girl, I want to repeat that. The Caucasian girl on the show said that the black girl who's staying with the dude who's having a baby on her, that she has Stockholm syndrome. It's like everybody can see it but you. Everybody can see you being disrespected but you, because you're used to it and you keep tolerating it. Stop tolerating it. Stop giving it energy. The minute he flake on you, the minute he start trying to argue with you on your birthday, the minute he has an excuse about why he don't have a Valentine's Day gift, the minute he has an excuse about why he was at some woman's house at midnight, just leave him alone. Block. Okay, what are we watching on TV tonight? Like, seriously, like, stop getting emotionally attached to, like, emotionally attach yourself to your life purpose and watch the wonderful person that is suited for you appear. Stop worrying about that. Please. Please, just stop worrying about trying to secure a relationship and secure your destiny and your life purpose. Because even the Bible says, do not put faith in man. Put faith in yourself. Please. Because it's like the amount of drama that comes from trying to force these damn. I really feel like these relationships to be so raggedy and bad because you're putting your energy in the wrong place. It's almost like you have 4 pots on the stove and you keep pouring salt in one, and it's making you sick. Whatever you're going to cook is going to be disgusting and salty, but you're not evenly distributing the salt amongst all the pots. So now you only have 1 pot, And it's disgusting because you put all your energy into that one thing. I'm gonna have to go watch that too. But it's just, yeah, the indoctrination is crazy from Abrahamic religions, and I mean it's all of them. It's not just Christianity. I mean it's Islam. It's all of them that teach women to be beneath men, to do everything a man says. Da 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 da. And it doesn't. If the religion does not teach supreme respect for woman and child, I cannot F with it. I even didn't agree. I'm gonna say this. Me and my boo shook our heads. We were watching the show, and the dude was like, "You're my wife, and so you're gonna come before my ex fiance and my child." I was like, I wouldn't even want to be with no man like that. I want him to put his children and the woman who made his children, as long as she's not like a danger to like me or him or anything like that. But if this is a normal woman who has brought this man's kids into this world, they come before me. They come before me. That's something that's their religious stuff though, because that's what they tell you in church. Oh, your wife comes before your kids, and your wife comes before the mother of your children. No. You wouldn't have children if it wasn't for this woman. And if you have children with your wife, they need to be on this. No, she does not get an extra cookie because you signed a legal document with her. This woman brought your kids into the world. If she called you and was like, "I'm dying right now, I need you to come help me with these kids," I would want him to stop everything he's doing to go make sure that they're okay. Just like I would want him to do the same thing if it were me and I had kids by him. What do you mean your new wife matters more to you than this child that's coming into the world? So when the baby gets here, you gonna treat the baby like she's this huge inconvenience, and her mother, she's this huge inconvenience because you married this chick on a TV show? Or because you married this? No, I disagree with that. That's part of the mind twist. That doesn't even make any sense. Your children are always supposed to come first. Children, whether it's your husband, your my children are the most important. I don't agree with that. That's why anytime if I see a man openly disrespect the mother of his children, and she didn't put, I can't even say, if he's openly disrespecting her, I can't agree with it. Him not wanting to be with her is one thing. Him not putting up with her BS is one thing, but to openly disrespect her, I couldn't be a part of it. I can't. I will not tolerate it. Nah. Now, if she called me cussing me out, I could exchange words with her. That's different. We ain't got kids together. You know, we can argue. But if he is going to treat her like smack, say things about her that are false, and not put his children first, even over me, I am not in agreement with that at all. No. Camila, I would say self-love work. I like sitting in the mirror and talking to myself. Therapy is great. Writing down what you do deserve, writing down what you don't deserve, and then when you have to create boundaries. So if you're seeing things that are happening that are unacceptable and you're putting up with them, there needs to be they call it shadow work. I think that word is so weird, but you basically need to sit with yourself and be like, why do I think it's okay? Or why am I tolerating this behavior? And it was very hard for me the last time I had to do that, because I had just had my second child, and I had to be like, why am I dealing with this? And that's when I realized I was dealing with it because I didn't want to be alone and I didn't want to be embarrassed. I had another child with another person that just wasn't good enough for my destiny path. It wasn't good enough. It had just been raised in a complete pile of ash and didn't have the type of I didn't want to really like creating a family with that person was gonna be not what I needed for myself. So you have to admit it so that you gotta keep it real with yourself. Gotta keep it. That's one of the hardest things. Maybe that's what I call it. I don't call it shadow work. I call it keeping it real with yourself. And I've always done it, which is part of why I'm kind of hard on myself. But keeping it real with myself has gotten me. I don't have to cry. I've had to go to some therapists and be like, I don't even know how I ended up in this situation. But it was just me keeping it real. I was just like, this is some bullshit. I don't even know how I ended up in this relationship. I don't even know how I remember how I ended up with this crazy job. I don't even know how I ended up gaining this weight that I don't want. Like, I just had to keep it real with myself. And I've been in therapy a few times because I like bouncing. I don't know why people have such a thing with therapy. I never thought it was an issue. Like, my first pregnancy was like a complete, like, it was abuse from beginning to end. It was abuse from beginning to end, like hot mess. I mean, even in the hospital room, abusive, like to the point that my dad was ready to come up there and fight. It was just ghetto. And I remember I had two therapists during that pregnancy, and I didn't feel no shame about it. Cause I was like, somebody help me process how I ended up in college, pregnant with this crazy baby daddy. Help, please help me understand how did I get here? I don't think that's weird at all, honestly. And I mean, the thing is, I always thought it was weird, but I know it's not weird now that I'm in my 30s and I know people older than me that won't do it. Because it just was natural to me. Because my mom is, she has a degree in child development. So my mom understands psychology and my dad's a social worker. So anytime we had problems, it was like, just go talk to a therapist, go hire a therapist. So to me, going to a therapist is like going to the doctor. To most people, like, I'll go to a therapist before I go to a doctor because it just makes more sense to me because that's my parents are basically trained in psychology on two different levels. So I went to go see a therapist in high school. I've never, and no shade to anybody who has been. I've never been on medication. I be needing a sounding board because I be like, bruh, what childhood wound is this? I literally walk in there like that. Like, what childhood wound is this that I ended up with this person? Yeah, he stole $5 out my purse. Yeah, he really did, girl. Mm-hmm. Like, so it doesn't, I don't look at it like, oh, I'm going to a therapist and they're going to put me on drugs. First of all, a therapist and a psychiatrist are not the same thing. But I never thought of it as weird. So I don't have the same inclinations about it as other people. But yeah, so that's part of why, like, I've always sought out a therapist. I have therapists picked out for my children because of some of the things that they've experienced. I have therapists picked out for my children already because they need to process some emotional trauma that they've gone through. I don't think it's weird at all. Now, if somebody come to me talking about you need to take this pill, I got like 50 questions before I let anybody put my kids on any medication or I take any medication because of my medical background. I'm like, are you sure we can't do some other type of treatment? But I've never had anybody offer that to me. I've mainly done talk therapy. So, and actually, one of my children has gone to therapy already, which I think helped him tremendously. I don't think it's weird at all. But yeah, go talk to a therapist. You'd be surprised at the things they'll be like, oh, so your mother, blah, 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 blah. And now you're in relationships where this and this happens. Like I go to therapy. I've gone to therapy for light bulb moments. Like I be having these, it's like so enlightening when you have a good therapist. Because I've had some shitty therapists before as well, which is why I've had to switch before. But it's shadow work / keeping it real with yourself. That is how you get through being in situations, whether it's friends. Because I've had to go to therapists over friends. Like, why do I have 4 friends that are just jacked up? Help me. Because I be just, to me, I be wanting to understand how I'm attracting Ash. So that's like, I be trying to piece it together. But I call shadow work keeping it real with yourself. Or that's my understanding of it. So create boundaries. It will save you so much time and energy. And if you just can't stop attracting the same type of people, go see a therapist. Preferably one that looks like you. Because they understand you a little bit better, in my personal opinion. But there are some male therapists. There are some non-black therapists that are great. I just prefer female black therapists. That's just me. For real, girl, I've attracted so much Ash. I have had to use Florida water soap to get off the ash that I have attracted in my life, okay? In real life. But yeah, I'm sure I have been on here way too long. But yeah, that whole love and married at first sight foolishness. It's a microcosm of what so many people are dealing with. It's just exaggerated because it's on TV. But y'all stop giving these folks passes to be ashy in your life and make your life complicated. I hope Paige runs like the wind. I hope she runs like the wind. And I hope she meets somebody that has some sense and isn't using religion as an excuse to maintain a relationship that is not for the greater good. But yeah, I just can't with that whole situation. What's today? Okay, yeah. Meditations are still on sale with code ILOVEME25. 20% off all meditations. Look, that's my little plug. Because maybe you need to meditate and process that at glamalchemy.com. So ILOVEME25, 25% off of all meditations. So peace, y'all. Yes. Yeah, that makes so much sense, Nicole. All right, bye, y'all.